better lunch program, okay? So,
I think we have a group of 8th graders right here.
Are you from Clark, New Jersey? Is that
No,
the group?
I'm from Hillside.
Hillside, okay. I know we have a group from Clark here as well. I do a lot of work around school lunch. 30 million children use public school lunch every single day. And this idea that it shouldn't be nutritious, to me, I lobbied a lot around this, and I talked to politicians, and they would say, we don't need to tell kids what to eat. I have a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old. I tell them what to eat, because if I don't, they'll eat candy all day long. I also have to tell them to take a bath, because if I didn't, they wouldn't. And so this idea that we shouldn't dictate what we serve in the school cafeteria is crazy. We actually, through the Healthy Hunger Kids Act, President Obama signed a great bill that actually created a better school lunch program, and yet every politician, these politicians that are in power now, want to push back against it and change it. And so the other thing that is really, really valuable is breakfast in first period, breakfast after the bell. Now, and people will say, well, you can go to school, if you need breakfast, you can go to school early. A lot of times transportation's not running early. Number two, there's a stigma attached to actually showing up early. Now, there's a study done that when kids get breakfast after the bell, math scores go up by 30%. Now, if you're an educator and you could do something to get math scores up by 30%, you'd do it. Now, if you realize it's a simple thing of having breakfast after the bell, boy, I don't know why you wouldn't sign up for this program. It's just crazy. So as a student, there are plenty of ways that the food system actually affects you. Most of the reason why the school lunch program was actually started to actually take surplus food and dump it into the school system. That has to change. Vending machines shouldn't have soda in it. We need to have healthier food in the school system. And this idea that kids won't eat it and it gets thrown out, school lunches get thrown out no matter what. So, but again, I think that options need to be there. Salad bars need to be there. Nutrition is so key. And so as students, this is something you can start demanding. And this is, again, I just have this dream of seeing kids from all across this country to march on the mall and demand better school lunch. I would love to see that happen.
Thank you. Very good, Tom. Tom, you mentioned the class from Clark. I believe it's your niece's class, right?
Yeah, I don't think she's here today.
She's not here, but where is the class from Clark? Tom's niece? Where are they? Somebody from Tom's niece's class? Oh, they're in the back. You have a question? We want to make sure Tom's niece's class gets an opportunity. Of course, Coach Phil Colicchio is here in the audience, and we want to make sure we point out that it's his daughter's class.
I'll give a shout out to my brother who's here, who's graduated. I think he graduated in 88 or 89 from Kean University.
He's in the front row here.
He's in the front row.
So back there is someone from Coach Phil Colicchio's daughter's class.
Hi. So I know we've been talking a lot about how people don't have access to food, and I know a big issue in America is also food waste. And so I was wondering, you being a restaurant owner, but also a food activist, could you elaborate on your efforts to reduce food waste, not only in the food service industry, but in local
Really good
communities?
question, Tom.
Sure. So the question was about food waste. We waste 40% of what we produce in this country. Think about that. 40% of what we produce in this country, we waste. Household waste, we waste about $1,500 to $1,800 a year. So it's about a quarter of your food budget. So if you're walking out of a supermarket and you have 4 bags in your hand, just drop 1 bag and keep going. Because that's what we're doing. That's what we're wasting. And part of it is because a lot of food is inexpensive. And we're one generation away from like our grandparents grew up during the Depression. And I remember watching my grandparents cook. And my grandfather would fry bacon and save the fat. He didn't buy oil, he just used bacon fat to fry food in. Because the idea of wasting food, once you actually went through a depression, the idea of wasting food was something that just didn't happen. And the idea of knowing how to take scraps of food and turning them into breakfast the next day or working them into lunch was something that used to be taught in school. and it's not anymore. So we do have a huge problem. Again, 40% of what we produce in this country is wasted. At the same time, we have people that are hungry. Now, I don't think anybody's suggesting that we take food scraps and feed hungry people with it. But there are a lot of programs out there that can work. Actually, part of this program that was passed in New Jersey, there's a gleaning program where farmers could actually open up their lands and people can come in and pick food for themselves. A lot of the waste happens not so much at home. A lot of it happens when we're grading stuff. You know, you go to a supermarket, if the fruits and vegetables are blemished or they're a little misshapen. I know, I garden. When I pull carrots out of the ground, they're all twisted and knobby. And they're delicious. I eat them. But, you know, if you go to a supermarket and you see them, you're not going to buy them. And so also supermarkets, because they want those displays to look great, they cull out a lot of food and throw it away. And so